We're just going to give it a second to let the waiting room clear. Please make sure you're muted as you enter. All right, we're going to get started. Good afternoon. This is a hearing before the Boston Cannabis Board, the BCB. Today is August 20th, 2025. Today's hearing is being conducted pursuant to amendments to the open meeting law. That is what allows us to meet virtually. This hearing is being recorded and we posted to the City of Boston's website. Before I review some procedural matters, I will introduce Chairwoman Kathleen Joyce.
Thank you, Jasmine. Good afternoon. My name is Kathleen Joyce, Chair of the Boston Cannabis Board. Today, I'm pleased to be joined by Commissioner Lisa Holmes, Commissioner Jack Hensley, Commissioner John Smith, Commissioner Ramon Soto, and Commissioner Sonal Gandhi.
Thank you, Chairwoman Joyce. My name is Jasmine Lynn. I am the Boston Cannabis Board Manager. We are also joined by Luke Santos, who is our Cannabis Licensing Specialist. While the public is encouraged to attend, there will be no additional public testimony accepted. I will read each item into the record as they appear on the agenda. We will then hear comments from the board members. I will then ask for a motion if there's any question on the motion, and then there will be a vote. Each board member has the ability to grant with conditions, defer, reject without prejudice, which means the applicant can return anytime with an application at the same location, or reject with prejudice, which means the applicant cannot reapply at the same location for 1 year. The first item we have, the licensee is HVV Massachusetts, Inc., doing business as Happy Valley. The license premise is 220 McCullen Highway in East Boston. They have a co-located marijuana retailer and medical treatment center. They are requesting to amend their operating hours from 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. 7 days a week to 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. 7 days a week. And we'll start with comments, starting with Chair Joyce.
My only comment is I do believe that this location can support this extension of hours. I don't think what they're asking for is too much. I think they have enough traffic there, and some of the other businesses in the area are also open that late, so I have no issues.
Commissioner Holmes?
I agree with the chairwoman.
Commissioner Kingsley?
Yeah, I agree. I would just say too, for me, when I consider these things, one of the most important things for me is that the employees of the applying businesses aren't kind of left in the lurch with all of a sudden significant changes to their hours that are much different than what they signed up on. So I do really appreciate that in this instance, the applicant made a concerted effort to include employees in the process and notify them ahead of time and make sure that they understood how the employees themselves would be impacted by the change in hours, and they had sufficient coverage to from the employees who are willing to have those adjustments to be able to continue operating.
Thank you. Commissioner Smith?
Thank you, Jasmine. No comments.
Commissioner Soto?
Thank you, Jasmine. Yeah, I wanted to echo the chairwoman's comments in regards to the sort of where it's situated. As a former resident of East Boston, I'm really well aware of the underutilization of that area, and the potential to create activity, I think, will not only sort of be a boon for the community as far as having that access, but I think it will also help the surrounding businesses in sort of increasing the appeal to be in the area if they're going to stop in anyways at the Happy Valley. So yeah, so I think it makes sense, and that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Gandhi? You're muted if you're speaking.
I'm sorry, Jasmine. I have no questions. I also agree with Chairwoman Joyce on this issue.
Thank you. Chair Joyce, is there a vote? Any motion? You're muted.
I vote to grant the extension of hours.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And none opposed. Change of hours is granted as requested. All right, we'll move to the next item. The applicant is Legal Greens Boston LLC, doing business as Legal Greens. The proposed license premises 571B Washington Street in Dorchester. They are applying for a marijuana retailer license. The proposed hours of operation are 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. 7 days a week. This is the equity applicant. Chair Joyce, do you want to start with comments?
Thank you, Jasmine. I was happy to see this application because this was a previously used location for a cannabis establishment. They also have they've also been previously approved for courier and delivery, so this will add to that. I have no other comments.
Commissioner Holmes?
I'm also happy to see them to come and do a full retail. They have a good business record in their first location, and hopefully they can bring a lot more revitalization and foot traffic to that area of Washington Street and Dorchester.
Commissioner Kinsley?
Thank you, Jasmine. Yeah, I just really appreciated how much the applicants kind of emphasized the community feedback that they got in the process, talking about how, they had originally had the courier license and they kept hearing from, people trying to walk in on the street or people at the community outreach meetings that they had, just asking them to turn it into a retail license. So I really appreciate their willingness to work with the community on it.
Commissioner Smith?
Thanks, Jasmine. I appreciated their proposal overall and no issues with it. Thank you.
Commissioner Soto?
Yeah, I also really appreciated sort of the thoroughness of the presentation, and given the close timeline between the delivery and the license, I was actually very pleased with the thoroughness of their responses for my questions. And I do hope, as we had discussed, I do hope that they will, be an active partner as far as, being aware of what's happening in the parking lot and also advocating as a partner, as a community partner for whatever, supports are needed so that the businesses there can thrive.
Commissioner Gandhi?
Thank you, Jasmine. I think my fellow commissioner has said it all. I do agree with all of them, and I appreciated as well the thoroughness of the presentation and the applicant's willingness to really take into account the community's concerns. So I have no other comments and agree with my commissioners. Thank you.
Thank you. Chair Joyce?
I vote to grant this application.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, and none opposed. The new license for a retailer is granted. All right. The following item was deferred at the BCB's May 28th voting hearing. The applicant is Zenith United LLC. The proposed license premise is 417 to 421 Hyde Park Avenue in Rosendale. The license type is a marijuana retailer. The proposed hours of operation are Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 10 p.m., and Sunday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. This is an equity applicant, and there is a buffer zone conflict. Chair Joyce.
Thank you, Jasmine. Thank you to the applicant for the supplemental materials that were submitted. You could tell there was a lot more thought put into it. Very helpful to me as I was thinking through the impacts of an application of a establishment at this place. With that being said, I think it is a good location for an establishment. I do think the surrounding businesses and neighborhood can support and uplift a location like this. It's a busy, heavily traveled road. There is parking. And those are my comments. I liked the application.
Commissioner Holmes?
Echoing the chairwoman, I appreciate the added information. It was very, very helpful, and they really did put a lot of effort into sending us that extra information that we asked for. So that's all. Thank you for everything you guys did.
Commissioner Kinsley?
Thank you, Jasmine. No other comments on my end. I think I agree with what Chairwoman Joyce and Commissioner Holmes said.
Commissioner Smith?
Thank you, Jasmine. Yeah, I appreciate all the effort that they put into this. Thank you.
Commissioner Soto?
agree with my fellow commissioners who've spoken.
Commissioner Gotti?
Thank you, Jasmine. No additional comments. I also agree with my fellow commissioners and Chairwoman Joyce.
Chair Joyce?
I vote to approve this application.
Is there a second? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, and none opposed. Our last item is Old and New. The licensee is Mass Greenwoods LLC, doing business as Prolific Cannabis. The license premise is 116 Harvard Ave in Alston. The license type is a marijuana retailer. The request is to amend their operating hours. The current hours are 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. 7 days a week. They're proposing 9 a.m. to 1 a.m. 7 days a week. Chair Joyce.
Thank you. My comments are that at this location, there are other businesses opened later than 9 p.m., so I can see why they're looking to extend their hours. My second comment is that I do think they've just opened. That doesn't prevent them from requesting this extension of hours, but I would be more inclined to approve an extension to 11 p.m. And not the 1 a.m. We just had another application earlier today, which we approved to 11, and I'd like to see these changes and these extensions to move slowly to make sure we see that they can succeed and we set them up for success as far as a business model and those are my comments.
Commissioner Holmes?
Ditto. I don't have anything to add. Thank you.
Commissioner Kinsley?
Thank you, Jasmine. Yeah, I think kind of the same comments I made about the Happy Valley one. I appreciate from their initial application their willingness to include their employees as part of the overall process and make sure that they had buy-in there. I think that's the most important first step. I think, I also appreciate after the last meeting their willingness to engage the public officials. That's kind of an important part of the overall process. And then I would say, as a young person who's lived in Brighton, Alston for a few years now, I'm very familiar with that stretch, and I think it definitely can sustain later opening hours. But I think I definitely agree with Chairwoman Joyce that a more gradual approach and kind of trying it out and then maybe letting them come back to extend it further later on is a good way to approach the overall extension.
Commissioner Smith?
Thank you, Jasmine. No, nothing to add to anything.
Commissioner Soto?
Yeah, I just want to echo the comments of the prior speakers and also just emphasize, as Commissioner Kinsley did, in regards to that outreach. I think, sometimes it can be an afterthought, but I think particularly within this structure, it is vitally important to have that, at the very least, have their attention on it, because it does affect so many of their constituents, for the better, and some might feel like it's for the worse. And so it's a important part of this process. It's not necessarily outlined anywhere, but I think a responsible and savvy business should absolutely be engaging with their local officials in order to make sure that the leaders who are elected to office to represent their community are informed and aware so that they can then be able to be supportive or offer suggestions, but at least then you have a relationship that you can build upon. So just wanted to thank them for that outreach and no other comments.
Thank you. Commissioner Gandhi?
No additional comments. Thank you, Jasmine.
Chair Joyce?
I vote to approve an extension of hours to 11 p.m.
Is there a second? Okay, all in favor? And none opposed. All right, so the petition is granted to 11 p.m. All right, those are all the matters before the board today. Our next hearing will take place on September 17th, 2025 at 1 p.m. Thank you all for attending and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks.
Everybody.